And welcome in everybody to Bill Hunter Arena for a Junior B RMLL Tier 1 clash. It's the Edmonton Warriors hosting the Mountain View Mavericks. The Warriors come in at 2-14 in the basement of the North and eliminated from a postseason contention, while the Mavericks come in at first in the Central at 11-3-1 and fresh off a 9-7 win last night in Okotoks. Officials for today's game: Sean Reed, Ryan White, and David Westwood. In net for the Mavericks, it'll be Alex Swan wearing number 37, and in the other end, it'll be number 11, Ava Pinch. And off the draw, the Mavericks bring the ball into the zone right away and hand it off up high. That's Dolinsky, working his way up across the top. He now swings it over to the left side. Shot comes in from Mikuluk, and it's going to be stopped by Pinch. Jama comes up the floor with it, but throws it away right into the stick of May, who had the overtime winner earlier this year at Beaumont in that ridiculous comeback win. Ball goes loose, and it's picked back up by the Mavericks as they set up their offense here. And they're going to call interference here, and it's Warrior ball. In transition, Royer twists it wide, and the ball gets picked back up by the Mavericks, and Murray gets the ball up floor. And now the Mavericks set up here with Hildebrandt handing it to Bosmworth. Now Steele tried to feed the ball into the middle where Zimmer batted at it. The ball goes loose and into the Mavericks' possession. Sinclair to Bosmworth. Shot comes in, and this is going to be Warrior ball on the shot clock expiration. Smith floats one up to Nicholson, who works his way past the defender. He's chased there by Muratori. He comes and peels back up high. And an outside shot by Muir. Grabbed by Andrusiak. Ball goes loose. Nicholson picks it back up. Nicholson across the top. Has a man down low. That's Muir. He cycles it back up high where Nicholson awaits. Pick comes for him. And an underhand release gets soaked by a Maverick defender. And it's going to be Maverick ball on the shot clock violation. 18 minutes to go here, first period. Just 2 minutes in, we sit scoreless here from Bill Hunter Arena. Thanks so much for joining us here on CROW LAX TV. Hit subscribe. You'll be notified every time a game goes live. Out of the corner comes Dolinsky. Out in front of the net, and he scores. Pinch just didn't move quite enough across the net with him, and he was able to reach around and give the Mavericks their first lead of the game. Now Muratori grabs the loose ball off the draw, and it's going to be picked back up by May. May chased a little bit here and gets the ball up high to Bosmworth, who elects to go to Sutherland, who's a dangerous shooter from the outside. Swim move here by Victoria. Victoria to the net, stepped well into the crease. It's going to be Warrior ball. And now they got a penalty coming up to Victoria. He's going to go to the box for interference. So the Warriors will get the first power play of the matchup. And as they trail 1-0, try to even it up. Morris to Andrusiak. Back pick set there by Nicholson. Ball back up high to Morris. Andrusiak. Riser stopped by Swan. Morris over to Muir. Muir winds and fires, and that got soaked. Ball picked back up by the Mavericks. And they'll look to try and beat the 8-second count. Float pass up near center, avoiding the back over was Mikuluk, who came over after being cut from the Saskatchewan SWAT Junior A club. Big pickup for the Mavericks, and watching warm-up, he was playing the top of their power play. So a guy that sort of was a back gate guy coming out of Cranbrook, looking as a guy you sort of relied on in transition. Looks like he's going to be playing a big-time O role this year for the Mavericks. Mikuluk off of the boards is going to swing it back over to Bosworth as he skips down the side. Bosworth fires one into the short side from way out. He was about 5 feet above the restraining line, and it's 2-0. Pinch looks like she just didn't react to that shot. I don't know if she didn't see it, but it sort of floated by her before she even moved, and it's 2-0. Mavericks wearing their new uniforms here. The all yellow with the black trim. And I want to say those came out maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And a suicide pass there is going to end up in a back over call. Bilodeau picks it up. And gets it to Babiak, who now gets it to Nicholson. Nicholson weaving through defenders. Nicholson to the net, and Swan got a shoulder on it. Oh, and now Nicholson takes a Maverick hard into the boards. And that'll be an interference call. That looked a bit dangerous there as the Mavericks come back down floor. Sutherland into the chest of Pinch. Loose ball picked up by Jama. Throws a pass to Andrusiak, who navigates his way up the floor. Now Lentz. Royer to Hoagland. Now down to Morris. Back up to Hoagland. Morris was open, but got slid on, and the ball was not brought in. Swan now looks to outlet, and the Mavericks turn it up floor. Ball is going to be picked up by Pennock, and he hits Fair with it. Fair is going to move it to Muir, who works his way down in the corner, now back up high. And now he'll swing it over to Nicholson. Pick from Babiak. Nicholson to the net, tried to go far side. Swan said no, and the loose ball is picked up by Muir. Muir over to the left side for Babiak, back up top to Muir. He gets it to the half wall where Hoagland awaits. As the ball works its way around the perimeter, Warriors not really getting anything inside here. Nicholson underneath his defender, chase to the dotted. He rolls back up and takes an off-balance shot way wide. Hoagland, loose ball, and he'll bounce that in on Swan. No harm there. 14-15 to go here, first period. Mavericks up by a pair. Here's Steele for the Mavericks. Floats a high pass. It's going to go into the, well, it didn't go into the Warrior bench. It stayed in play. Sutherland goes in behind the net to Mikuluk. Mikuluk tried to feed it through the dotted, and it got sent up over top of his intended target, and then it goes wide. It'll be over and back with the shot clock expiration alongside it, and it'll be Warrior ball. Here's Royer. Half wall to Hoagland. He comes up high with it. He moves it to Morris. He swings it to Nicholson. Slip pick there by Andrusiak. Didn't get the ball, though. Nicholson actually tried to feed Royer in behind that, and the ball goes loose. Royer picks up the loose ball as he spins off of traffic. Nicholson, with the shot clock winding down, just pushes it at the net, and it'll be Maverick ball. 13-15 to go here, first period. The Mavericks come back up floor. Ball over on the left side. Here's Bosworth. Has a goal. That shot comes in from way out, but the loose ball is going to be picked back up by the Mavericks. They'll get a shot clock reset here. And ball comes back up top. Over to Steele. And coming across the top was Victoria. And good stop there by Pinch. Loose ball is picked up by Lentz, and he's going to run out over center. He's got a 2-on-1 here, and he pulls the ball out. And that's going to be a check on the back, but it won't result in a penalty. Instead, it'll be Maverick ball. As they push it up floor in transition, and Gardner gets the shot away. Stopped by Pinch, and the loose ball promptly goes to Cameron. The Warriors are late to close the box there. That could have been ugly. And it'll be Warrior ball here. Hoagland moved it to Nicholson, who got pushed back over. And it'll be Maverick ball once again. Here's Delinsky working one-on-one against Palmer. Delinsky avoids the crease and goes to his wrong side of the floor, hits Sutherland. Sutherland to the net and made a number of fakes and had the short side wide open, just missed it. Pinch will grab the loose ball. And she's going to give it away. Saw Bialik do that a few times last night against the Outlaws. Delinsky behind the back. Sutherland tried to go back short side and missed the net again. Here comes Jama up floor as he clears the timeline. Mavericks in a battle right now for first in the Central with the Silvertips and Chill. Three of the better teams in the league all going at it. And that'll be a hell of a playoff in that division, as coming up floor are the Mavericks, and bouncing that wide was Murray. That'll go up and out of play. It'll be Warrior ball. High hit there. Pennock getting pressed heavily as he just makes it over, but he's tied up by two Maverick defenders. There's a scrum here right in front of the penalty box. And then Andrusiak with a sweeping pickup of the loose ball. Andrusiak to the net as he bowled his way through two defenders, and a third joined in, and he'll get called for being in the crease, and it'll be Maverick ball. 2-0 here halfway through the first period. CROW LAX TV, hit subscribe. You'll be notified every time a game goes live. Mikuluk, loose ball, swings it. And now the ball is fed up top. Shot goes wide. Ball bounces back over, and it'll be Warrior possession. As the ball goes in behind the net, it's going to be picked back up by Muir. Wide open Nicholson, but the ball wasn't brought in. Loose ball is promptly picked up by him, and he rolls off a check. Dylan Nicholson underneath, rolls back up high. Nicholson underneath again, and he had no angle there and just floated the ball into Swan's belly. Ball up floor. Nice pass there to May. Delinsky now, 3-on-3 for the moment. Now, a couple of players join the fray here for both teams. Sutherland, drag move underneath his defender. Sutherland to the net, tried to tuck it far side this time and just missed. Ball gets knocked back, and we'll get our first media timeout of the game. Want to remind you about Battle of the Border. Battle of the Border will take place in Missoula, Montana, on the wonderful campus of the University of Montana. Go check out what the university has to offer and take part in the North versus South Box Lacrosse Tournament. That's taking place in Missoula, Montana this September. Battle of the Border. Sorry, forgot to unmute myself there as the ball popped up off the glass into Swan's stick, and then it got turned over by the Mavericks. And Andrusiak is going to pick the ball up and head up floor. Andrusiak up to Morris. Now Royer right down Main Street, stopped by Swan. Transitioning up was the Mavericks, and they'll hand off here to Sutherland, one-on-one. Once again to the net, Sutherland to the top of the crease and then tried to take a sidearm and missed the net again. That's about 5 times that Sutherland's made his way to the net, missed the net. And the ball is thrown into the middle, it's dropped. And then a backdoor look to Zimmer, doesn't connect. And the Warriors transition up. Pennock knocked into the boards by Murray. And he's going to lose the ball here. Dolinsky up floor to Sutherland. Dolinsky gets it back from Sutherland and hits the midsection of Pinch. Fair. Up floor to Hoagland. Hoagland pressed by Muratori. Double comes as the Mavericks aggressively pressure the ball. You'll see that a lot from them. Hoagland survives it though and gets it to Fair. Fair misses the net on the far side, and now a breakaway opportunity for the Mavericks. It's Gardner in, stopped by Pinch. Big save there for the Warrior netminder. 7 minutes to go here, first period. Mavericks continue to lead 2-0. Fair gets it safely over to Royer, who tried to hit Muir. Ball goes over top of him. Loose ball grabbed by the Mavericks, who transition out. And now the Mavericks do what they do and get one in transition and extend their lead by 3. The Mavericks will win another draw and head back up floor with the ball in possession of May. May off the boards. Gets the ball up to Dolinsky. Dolinsky down the wall. And now Victoria skips up with it. May back in behind the net. Dolinsky winds and fires a low shot wide. Victoria rebound effort. Another stop there by Pinch, and Jama will pick up the loose ball. Ball is up floor, and the ball will bounce up over top of Lentz. And now the Mavericks will grab it, and Murray headmans it up to Gardner. Gardner is pressed there by a Warrior. That's Bilodeau. And the ball swings. Dropped, but picked back up by Steele. Now out in front, and a great diving effort there by Mikuluk, but they say he was in the crease. As Jama swims through a couple of defenders, but then throws it way into the glass. And the Mavericks come back up floor. Sutherland misses Muratori with the pass. Zimmer having trouble with this loose ball. It picked it up for a second, then lost it again. The ball remains loose here as a Warrior got knocked down, and the Mavericks picked the ball back up. Now down the middle went Benko, and he got stopped. Nice cut there to the net as the ball goes loose once again to the far boards. Ball's picked up by Pennock. And it's going to be set up again by the Mavericks with a fresh 30. 4.5 to go. Mavericks now leading 3-0. Up across the top. Now skipping it over to Muratori. Muratori with a jump shot and stopped by Pinch on a nice effort there from Muratori. And now Andrusiak with that helicopter cradle of his gets trapped by a couple of Mavericks. And now Sutherland is in, and he misses the net once again. I think that's about 6 times Sutherland's been right in and just missed the cage, which is very rare for him. He's usually a very accurate shooter. And now the Warriors 3-on-1 here. Nicholson to the net, and he was able to pull it around a defender, but then missed the cage entirely. It'll be Maverick possession as the ball went up and out of play. Here's Zimmer off the bench. The Mavericks, a bit of a slow change here. Only have 4 guys on the floor. They'll just wait and send a D guy out. Well, no. I guess the D guy is going to come out and play some offense. As the ball, yeah, he'll just wait there at center as Lentz comes back up with it. That ball gets knocked down by a Maverick. It won't be back over. Royer. Pressed there by Murray. Here's Royer once again, and he wiggles his way through a couple of Mavericks and then got a shot off. Swan makes the save. Now up the floor comes Gardner. Just avoids the over and back. And gets it to the half wall, where Benko awaited, or sorry, that was not Benko. It looked like Victoria. But he lost the ball. And the ball is going to remain loose. A delayed call coming up here to the Warriors. And the Mavericks will go to the power play. Up top, Mikuluk. Working the ball around the perimeter. Gets it back, fires, and that went off something on its way to the net. Mikuluk gets the ball back now over to Dolinsky. Dolinsky gets it back from Mikuluk. And Sutherland might have hit the side of the net there. And Jama will make sure he waits for the shot clock to expire before he picks it up. And he's going to try and make his way out over center, but that's going to be 8 seconds. And the Mavericks will take possession. Dolinsky back into the offensive zone. Now in behind the net. Mikuluk. Dolinsky winds and fires on the far side. And it's going to go back over. The Warriors will gain possession. Minute to go now in the opening frame. Warriors will have possession with a man in the box. Nicholson worms his way out of the corner behind the back, but they say he stepped in the crease. Creative effort there from Nicholson, but just wasn't able to avoid the cylinder, and the Mavericks come back down floor. A bit of a half-hearted hidden ball attempt there. Mikuluk still had it. In behind the net. Up to Dolinsky. Mikuluk, and that's a shot to the 5-hole that was turned away by Pinch. Loose ball, Dolinsky. Up top, Mikuluk. Stopped again by Pinch. Loose ball again, and just missing was Mikuluk. Ball bounces around, and it's going to be picked up by Palmer. Palmer throws it away, and Mavericks are going to have 10 seconds to work with here. Dolinsky behind the back. Sutherland didn't bring it in. And that's going to do it for the first period here as Pinch throws this up near the ceiling. And that will do it for the opening frame with the score. The Mountain View Mavericks 3, the Edmonton Warriors nothing. Want to thank you for joining us here on the channel. Hit subscribe. You'll be notified every time a game goes live. After 1, Mavericks 3, Warriors nothing. We'll talk to you again in about 10 minutes. And welcome back inside Bill Hunter Arena for second period action, where it's the Mavericks leading the Warriors by a score of 3-0. And we pick up play with the Mavericks in possession here. Mikulak is going to work his way down into the Warrior zone. Up high now as the ball swings across the top. Sutherland, pick set there by Dolinsky to the net. Dolinsky fakes, and good stop there by Pinch, who didn't bite on it. Loose ball. Fair has some trouble with it. Mavericks now with a shot at it, and Dolinsky's going to come away with it. Wide open is Benko, who is left all alone. And that's a 4-0 goal by the Mavericks. Yeah. Mavericks with back-to-back possessions here now. Ball is going to be picked back up. Here's Sutherland across the top, winding and firing. Stopped by Pinch. Now Babiak had that ball thrown to him, but it was a bit behind him, and he was surrounded by a couple of Mavericks. Ball pops up in the air, and the Mavericks will control. Dolinsky up high. The ball works its way to the half wall. Now back up over. Shot taken from outside. Dolinsky almost fit that through Pinch. Ball goes loose, where the Mavericks will regain possession. Mikulak, Dolinsky, Steele. Steele swings it back over to the left side, and Victoria's gonna have to put that down because they call moving on the Mavericks. Here is Burrill. Now to Hoagland, swings it over to Nicholson. That pass is nearly picked off. Loose ball regained by Andrusiak. Gets it to Muir. Muir steps into one, stopped by Swan as he challenges out. Hoagland tried to grab the loose ball. It's batted forward into the stick of Victoria. Ball is going to work its way around the perimeter now. Shot. And the loose ball is picked up by the Warriors. As Morris comes back in possession. Royer swings it over to Andrusiak. Hoagland. Ball pops up in the air. And it's going to be picked up by Andrusiak. Spins off a check. He's met there by Muratori, and the shot clock's going to expire. And now a Warrior is taken down heavily. It's going to draw a call. And Pinch will make her way out of the net. Here's Morris. Down to Royer. 6-on-5, the Warriors go here. Nicholson. Muir throws that away, and it's going to be a Warrior power play. No, it's so Morris starts back up. Nicholson, Morris, Muir tried to skip that down to Andrusiak. He picks the ball up off the boards. Morris steps into one. Good stop by Swan, and the ball goes all the way up the floor. And it's going to be picked up by Pinch. Muir slowly makes his way up the floor here. And the Warrior power play will operate with about a minute to go, or actually got 4 minutes there, so 3 minutes on the power play. Ball is floated up the floor, and Muratori's got a 2-on-1. Hits Gardner, stopped easily there by Pinch, who had stepped over to that side of the net. And Palmer is going to mishandle this now. And there's going to be an 8-second call here, yeah. And it'll be Maverick ball. Dolinsky back into the offensive side of the floor. Goes underneath Lentz all around the net, or all the way around the net. Here's Mikulak. Tried to bounce that off the floor. It went high and into the glass, and Warriors will retake possession. Didn't bother to give him 9 feet, but Babiak was able to get around Sutherland anyway. And the Warriors offense comes back out on the power play. 2 minutes remaining in the power. Morris way out here. I don't know why he's so high. Not a threat up there. And you just can't expect to score from up there. And that power play needs some work here as the Mavericks get the ball back up the floor. Hack there from Royer. Feed in front, and Sutherland's going to score shorthanded. Saw the Outlaws score 1 or 2 shorthanded last night. And Sutherland finally finds the range, and it's 5-0. That horn's just going right off in my ears. Yeah. I don't, if you go, is there, what's at the bottom?
Is there something up on here, monitor?
No, it's something on the score bug.
Do you want it to disable this animation?
Yeah, maybe that. As the Mavericks come right down off the face-off and score another one here, and they extend to a 6-0 lead. And this is the part of the game where the Mavericks usually dominate. The quick change out the front gate, getting a lot of looks in transition, and they've got a couple here now in that manner to get out to a 6-0 lead. Benko skips it over to May, who backpedals, hits Mikulak cutting. Stopped there by Pinch. Floated up by Jama, but Cameron didn't bring it in right away, and then it got grabbed by a Maverick, and then a little crossbody push shot from Benko got stopped. Jama runs it out. Warriors with a minute now to go in their 4-minute power play, having given up 2 shorthanded goals on this man advantage. Morris, again, way out, and they're going to have the shot clock expire. And that's going to be a delay of game here now. As the ball had just been picked up and Morris tapped the stick out of the Mavericks' hands. So we'll go to 4-on-4 for the next 43 seconds. Not quite sure why the Warriors only have 3 players on the floor. Never mind, they got 4. Now the ball is behind the back, or behind the back attempt is missed. And Fair is going to pick the ball up. Fair doubled, and he's going to be pushed back near the timeline, but he survives, and he goes to the net. Fair up high and right into the crest of Swan. Mavericks transition back out. Ball's bounced over to Victoria. Mikulak behind the back feed, gets it back now from Victoria. Shot stopped by Pinch. Loose ball goes out and it's picked back up by the Mavericks. Backpedaling there is Mikulak. He feeds it up top to Bosworth, and then the shot came in from Sutherland. Mikulak gets it back as the Mavericks rotate a little bit up top on their power play. Feed down and on the crease was Sinclair, and that stop is made by Pinch. Nicholson gets away from a couple of checks, heavy pressure. Nicholson just misses, and the ball is going to be picked back up by Hoagland. He returns the ball to Nicholson. Dylan Nicholson out of the corner, feeds it in front, and Royer tried to tuck it past Swan. No go there, and then Hoagland with the second chance opportunity just missed. I think Swan got a piece of that, but they're not, well, there's going to be a penalty here on the Warriors behind the play, and Mavericks will go back to the power play. So with 10:47 to go here, the Warriors will get one out of the box, and we'll have a 5-on-4. In behind the net, ball's moved up top. Skip feed and a quick stick there from Sutherland. Gets turned away by Pinch. Good stop there by the netminder. Mikulak, Delinsky. Seal set there by Victoria. The ball comes back up high. Mikulak behind the back. Feed over. Ball got knocked down by a Warrior stick as Sinclair tried to feed it across the box. Cameron is going to lose it, and the ball turns back into possession of the Mavericks. Now a breakaway feed. Sutherland hits the pipe. And man, Sutherland has had a lot of looks here on top of the net. Does have one. Could have a lot more as the Mavericks set back up on the power play. Mikulak up high. Behind the back feed's way too high for Sutherland, but he regains possession on the loose ball. Mikulak winds, fires, stopped by Pinch. Loose ball. It's going to be regained by the Mavericks as a Maverick got knocked down. Ball around the perimeter once again here. Delinsky as Mikulak trying to redo his helmet that had come undone. Skip feed, quick stick, stopped by Pinch, who got over to the near post. Pinch, high feed. jumping up was Andrusiak. He knocks it down, but is unable to pull it in. And now up floor, the ball is sailed over top of Sutherland, and the Warriors are going to get possession, but we hit our second immediate timeout of the game. Want to remind you about Battle of the Border. Battle of the Border takes place in Missoula, Montana this September. Go tour the beautiful University of Montana campus and take part in the North versus South box lacrosse tournament. You can check that out this September in Missoula, Montana, the Battle of the Border. Morris up floor. Gets it down low to Royer. Cutter, and that's Andrusiak, and he got turned away by Swan. Up floor now. The pass was behind May. He's going to try and run it down, where it's gathered in and picked back up. 8:22 to go, second period. Warriors down by a sizable amount here. Ball grabbed by the Mavericks. Sinclair over to May. May is going to feed it down low, but the shot clock goes off, and it'll be Warrior ball. Ball is botched by Palmer. Bit of a weird pass. Palmer picks it up. Knocked back. As Mirror grabs the loose ball, Mirror feeds it. Good catch there by Fair, and he fired it wide. Ball pops up into the, or just past the Maverick bench, and it'll be over and back, Warrior or Maverick possession. Ball goes around the perimeter. Shot taken way high and wide. Loose ball, and they say the Mavericks stepped inside the crease. I believe that was Steele. Here's Jama. He's going to run around Victoria. And winding and firing was Andrusiak. Ball goes into the corner, and it's picked up by Nicholson. Feeding it, Hoagland tried to go backdoor, way behind him. And Mavericks come back up floor, and another fast break opportunity. Harnack into the midsection of Pinch. Loose ball, Muratori. Out in front, lost it. Pinch will gather it. Royer drops it, picks it back up. Double comes. He rolls down underneath, and he flips it back up to Muir. Bilodeau out for a shift of offense. Royer up across the top, stopped by Swan. Nice float pass up, and then breakaway, and May is able to deposit it behind Pinch to make it 7-0. Going in my ears as I call the game here. But the Mavericks add another, and they lead by a touchdown. Ball around the perimeter here, and then it gets fed in front of the net. It's grabbed off the end boards by Dolinsky out in front of the net. And after he shot the ball, he fell into the crease. It'll be Warrior possession. Babiak trying to get across center. He was trapped by a couple of Mavericks. Loose ball, he picks it back up. He's got a couple of options up floor, but they get taken away now. Babiak's gonna hold on to it and throws it right into the stick of Sutherland. Now quickly up floor, breakaway back the other way and stopped by Pinch. Cameron, loose ball. And the Warriors have numbers off the bench. Cameron is gonna take it. Stopped by Swan. Loose ball, missed by Harnack. And Morris is gonna grab it. Loose ball, and the Mavericks turn back the other way. Hildebrandt trying to look to dish here, and the Mavericks look like they're gonna put their backup in here as Swan comes out of the net. Up 7-0 with 4.5 to go in the second period. Shot comes in. Lentz runs out over center and gets it to Cameron. Cameron back to Lentz. Lentz to Hoagland. That pass was low, and the ball pops to the near boards. And eventually Muratori comes away with it. Muratori all the way to the net out of nowhere and misses the target. Now Jama has got a 2-on-1 with Fair. Jama in, and he's stopped. Now, as the team's trade transition looks here, the Mavericks with a breakaway, and that goes wide. That was Lodermeyer with that opportunity. Pennock over center. Trapped there by a couple of defenders, but got rid of the ball. Nicholson. The ball sits in the feet of Evanson. Now, there's been a bunch of times where the Mavericks have started to double, but they haven't necessarily done it with a lot of pace, and it's kind of gotten the Warriors out of trouble when it looked like they were in deep trouble, but it hasn't really mattered here as the Mavericks end up finding Twine once again, and it's 8-0. So Warrior power play hits the floor here with the Mavericks pressing way out. And again, Morris way up at the restraining line here. And he takes that shot from distance, stopped by Evanson. 30 seconds remaining here in the middle frame. Muir up top. Morris back to Muir. Muir winds and hits a body. Warriors are going to take a timeout here with 20 seconds left in the second period. So already up one, they will not go with the goaltender out. That ball almost goes through Evanson, but stays out. And with the clock winding down here, maybe one last opportunity. Hildebrandt tried to one-hand it up the floor. Couldn't bring it in. And now Hildebrandt and Muir get pushing and shoving. And that's going to do it, I think, for the... Well, there's still 2 seconds on the clock. I would just wind this down. Oh, they're calling a penalty here. I think. I didn't see anybody go to the... I don't know what the heck happened there. Yeah, okay. Royer did go to the box. So after 2, it's going to be the Mountain View Mavericks 8, the Edmonton Warriors 1. Want to thank you for joining us here on the channel, CROW LAX TV. Hit subscribe to be notified every time a game goes live. Mavericks 8, Warriors 1. We'll be right back with you in about 10 minutes. And welcome back inside Bill Hunter Arena for third period action between the Mountain View Mavericks and the Edmonton Warriors. The Mavericks with an 8-1 lead extending out in the back half of that second period. A couple of shorthanded goals really sort of changed the feel of this game in the favor of the Mavericks. And they haven't looked back since, taking an 8-1 lead into the third period. Ball is won back, and nice pick up there by Muratori. Now Delinsky handles it. He goes inside, a check on the back, and it'll result in a penalty. So the Mavericks will go 4-on-3 here. Sutherland skips it, but that was a bad pass. It's going to be taken away by Fair. Danny Fair taking some checks. He's going to lose the ball. Ball's going to work around. In behind Sutherland. Delinsky, skip pass, got knocked down. It's picked back up by the Mavericks out in front, and Victoria got turned away on the far side. Reset now for the Mavericks. In front, Sutherland stopped again. Now backdoor look. Victoria across the net, and another stop there. Ball is going to be turned over here and into Warrior possession. Ball gets sent back down the floor and picked up by the Mavericks. Delinsky, Sutherland tried to go back over to Victoria. Ball got knocked down, and here comes Pennock. Pennock gets checked, and the ball just flew out of his stick and right back into it without him even knowing, and he was able to get across the timeline. And now Murray, 3-on-1 here. Muratori crease dive, and that's a good goal, says official Sean Reed. Nice display of athleticism and dexterity there from Muratori. It's 9-1. Ball's pulled to the near boards, and it's going to be battled for and picked up by Muratori. As Mountain View controls here. Ball is shot, misses the net, it pops up, and it's picked back up. Far out of the far corner, it's brought back up high by Benko. Shot taken off the post from a bad angle, and grabbing that loose ball was the Mavericks. Now fed across the top, and Benko turned away. Ball comes back up floor with Cameron. And it's transitioned out by the Mavericks. Ball swings. Victoria steps into one. Didn't get anything on it though, and Pinch sails it up the floor. Now picked up, Royer in front. Knocked down by the Mavericks, and back comes Murray. Nice feed, Sutherland in tight was Michaluk, and then a rebound opportunity turned away by Pinch. Cameron with the goal here in this game for the Warriors. Navigates his way over center. He's going to be doubled, but then they let up, and Nicholson out in front, couple of fakes, and then he floats it past Evanson. On a bit of a change up there. It's 9-2. Face-off violation, and they're going to blow it back in here. Mavericks 2-on-1. All the Warriors vacated the floor, and the Mavericks ripped it off the post. Hildebrandt. Victoria looking to feed here. Nobody really around available, so he'll keep it. Now into the middle, Sutherland didn't bring it in, and now Babiak is going to be pressured here by a handful of Mavericks. He's going to lose it, and that's going to be 8 seconds. Now Sutherland, quick feed, and Michaluk looking for one there, turned away by Pinch. Now back in front of the net, Michaluk tried to grab the loose ball off the boards. It's going to bounce back over, and it'll be Warrior possession. 9-2 here with 14:49 to go. Mavericks in the lead. Johnny Royer, Dylan Nicholson. Pick there from Bilodeau. Nicholson tries to go back underneath. Another pick comes from Bilodeau. Out in front, Johnny Royer, and he throws it past Evanson. It's 9-3. They're going to call interference on the draw. The Warriors take possession here with Cameron absorbing contact. He's chased there by Harnack. Still with it is Cameron. And he'll move it over to Royer. Royer feeds it. Morris off the pick and roll, and he loses it just at the last second. He tried to work his way through a defender. And we've got a call coming up here. It'll be a slash to Andrusiak. So the Mavericks power play goes to work here with Michaluk. Sutherland whips it over. to Sinclair, who got stopped, and now the loose ball is picked up by Muir. He's got to hurry to beat the 8-second count. He does that. And here's Lachlan Muir controlling it for the Warriors. Muir, Nicholson. He's going to hold on to it. The 30-second clock is going to expire. And it's brought back out and into possession of Mikulik. That shot's taken off a stick, and it'll be Maverick possession. Mikulik, wide, knocks it down, avoids the over and back. Sutherland, Mikulik, that's wide again. Loose ball, Sutherland winds and fires. Misses the target, loose ball, pops out into the stick of Sutherland. He turns around and fires, and up high, Pinch made the save. That'll be back in. Mavericks regain the ball. Mikulik over as Dolinsky tried to feed it to Victoria, who was unsuspecting. Sutherland thought about it, gets it back over to the left side. Mikulik skips it. That was behind Dolinsky. It'll be a moving pick. It'll be Warrior ball. Now up floor goes Andrusiak, unable to bring it in. Now he works hard to try and regain this loose ball, but Evanson reaches out and grabs it. That pass, way too high, but the Warrior didn't catch it, and the Mavericks will grab it again. Ball in behind the net now. Cutter out in front. Banco. Nice release there. It was a better save by Pinch as the ball goes loose. And it's going to be picked up by Cameron. Cameron takes a hit, steps back, and gets it to Nicholson. Nicholson to the dotted, pulls it around a defender, and then tried to feed it across his body, and it got intercepted. Muratori, swim move, gets grabbed. That'll be a call. The Mavericks go 6-on-5. Here's Dolinsky, right into the chest of Pinch, and that will lead to a Maverick power play here. Just got a note here that the goalie in net for the Mavericks is indeed not Evanson. It's Tyrell Strauss of the U17 Red Deer Chiefs. So apologize for that, as the ball is going to work its way around the perimeter here. No look pass. Sutherland hit Michaluk, and then the rebound came right back to Michaluk, and he was turned away. Now pinch up floor for Royer. Sutherland will control it, and he gets it to Michaluk. Michaluk down in behind the net now. Winding and firing off a helmet was Michaluk. No look pass to nobody, and pinch grabs the loose ball. Tries to headman it up floor to Morris. No go there, and now back the other way. 2-on-1 Mavericks opportunity, and pinch makes the save. Into the middle, and that time Banko's shot was able to be absorbed by a stick. Dolinsky, submarine shot there, sort of a sidearm release on a riser, and pinch stood tall. Cameron up floor, hits Andrusiak. Andrusiak in front, and Royer tried to twist it by Strauss. Loose ball. And the Mavericks, with a 9-3 lead, will come back the other way. And that'll bring us to our third and final media timeout. And that means it's time to remind you about Battle of the Border. Battle of the Border will take place in Missoula, Montana in September. Go check out the beautiful Montana campus, University of Montana campus, and the North versus South Box Lacrosse Tournament. That's taking place this September in Missoula, Montana, the Battle of the Border. So now that shot comes in from Royer, and that looked like a harmless play. Is another goal here for the Warriors, and they narrow the deficit to 5. Mavericks have really dominated on draws here. They have another possession off of one. Bosworth gets it back. And the ball now with Sutherland. That shot way wide. And the over and back will result in a Warrior possession. And Druziak lost the ball. And it's going to be picked back up by Royer. That shot soaked. Loose ball, and Nicholson is going to battle for it with 2 Mavericks, and coming away with it is Harnack. Harnack all the way to the net. Gets knocked down at the last second. the ball turns back over into Warrior possession. 6:55 to go, third period. The Mavericks with a 9-4 lead. That shot stopped. And we're going to get a call for a wipe of the floor here. I want to thank you for joining us here on CROW LAX TV. Hit subscribe, you'll be notified every time a game goes live. The Mavericks looking to finish first in the Central. They're in a battle with the Chill and Silvertips. And they could go to 25 points after today. And the Warriors finding themselves in the basement of the North, and their season all but done with a couple games remaining on the schedule. Play starts back up, and the Mavericks will bring it up the floor. Muratori with it. Bosworth is going to possess. And drag move underneath. Victoria rattled the bar. They say Muratori stepped into the crease, and it'll be Warrior ball. Here's Pennock. Tries to flip it to Nicholson. Ball turns over. And here come the Mavericks. Dolinsky. Dolinsky to the net and stopped by the shoulder of Pinch. Loose ball, and the Mavericks regain possession. Dolinsky rolls to the net, and a behind the back offering is stopped by Pinch. Rolling around a check was Smith. That ball was in behind Jama. He's going to have to try and run this down. And a Maverick takes a tumble. Back come the Warriors. Pennock takes a hit, loses the ball. And it's going to be knocked back before going over center. The Warriors only have 8 seconds on the shot clock. And Druziak taking a couple of whacks. And that'll result in a shot clock violation. 5 minutes to go now, 9-4 Mavericks lead. In what has not been a Picasso here. Ball now in the stick of Muratori. Ball's fed in front and wasn't brought in. And the Warriors are going to head back up floor. Nicholson is going to hit Royer, and Royer to the half wall for Hoagland. Hoagland comes across the top, swings it to Bilodeau. Bilodeau rips that riser into the corner. The ball goes, and it's picked up by Andrusiak. Royer. Hoagland. Pick set there by Morris. Hoagland into the middle, and Royer had an opportunity and missed the net. And here come the Mavericks back with Pinch out of the net. She scrambles back in. Zimmer is able to bury it. And that looks like his first as he celebrates. Pretty nice moment for him. I would imagine, just by the way he celebrated, I have to imagine that's his first. I don't know if they're going to get him the ball. I think they're asking for it. And there it is right there. As he's able to storm in and put it past Pinch. And that's where we sit, 10-4 with just under 4 minutes to go. And the ball is won by the Warriors. They blow it dead, and now Cameron with got to have 9 feet there. He wasn't given it, and quickly turns over into Maverick possession. Dolinsky now around And underneath here, ball was fed, dropped, and it's going to be kept loose. Ball's picked up off the floor, and a shot was attempted. Now a couple of rebound opportunities, and the ball goes high up off the glass, and Andrusiak ties up with Victoria. And a scrum ensues. That'll be 10 seconds, and it'll be Maverick ball. Ball over on the left side. Mikulak to the net, and he bounces it low on pinch. And the Mavericks get another. So the Mavericks go up by 7 here with 3 minutes to go. And the face-off is eventually picked up by the Mavericks. As Jama's stick snaps. Mavericks will look to go to the net here. Now in is Sinclair, who bounces at 5-hole to add another to the Maverick total. Morris picks up the loose ball, heads north. He's pushed into the corner, and now he wraps around the net. Royer to Bilodeau. Bilodeau goes down. Here's Hoagland. That bounce shot turned away by Strauss, and here go the Mavericks. Muratori steps around to check and avoids getting pinned. Muratori now to the net. Tried to float it up over top of pinch. It did not work out. And Muratori went through the crease. It'll be Warrior ball. 1:30 to go here, third period. Mavericks in full control. Babiak with the hard cradle. Gets it and turns it to Royer. Royer and Nicholson. Nicholson. Sidearm bounce. That'll go off of the netminder and out of play. Here's Royer. Royer bounces that off the floor. And it'll be Maverick ball here. As we dip underneath a minute to go. Mavericks will probably just run this clock out, I would imagine. Ball on the left side. Zimmer up top now. Feeds it. And it's picked up. As Victoria winds and fires one. Pinch makes the save. And interestingly here, the Warriors are going to take a timeout, down 8 with 21 seconds left. The Warriors will pull the netminder, go 6-on-5. Obviously just, I guess, taking the chance to work on something here. Try to see if a specific play will work out for them as Nicholson steps off a check. Nicholson throws it away at the feet of Morris, and now the ball is going to be picked up and thrown into the empty net. And that's going to do it here, as the last face-off of the game is a formality. And your final score will be the Mountain View Mavericks 13, the Edmonton Warriors 4. The Mavericks improved to 12-3-1 and solidify their place for now in first in the Central, while the Warriors dropped to 2-15 and will play out the string in their final couple of games here. Final score from Bill Hunter Arena: the Mountain View Mavericks 13, the Edmonton Warriors 4. Thanks so much for being with us, and we'll see you again soon. Take care, everybody.